the Blessed John Paul II. I'm recording this on the day in which the Jewish people commemorate the Holocaust and the anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. I just came back from the Jewish community's communal Chicago commemoration of the Holocaust. And it's interesting that, of course, there was a lot of deep sadness at the mass murder of over 6 million Jews. But there's a tendency to forget that there were some righteous Gentiles who helped Jews. And they're honored by Yad Vashem. We can't ever forget that they risked their lives, and many died helping Jews. And today is the day in which we also celebrate the beatification of John Paul II, the Pope, who preceded the current Pope. And he was a real hero to the Jewish people, and we honor him in his memory. The reason is that, first of all, he established relations with the State of Israel, with the Vatican, first time in history. He visited Israel, and he famously said there that the Jewish people are our older brothers in faith. One of the great popes ever in the history of the Jewish people, and we put him in line with the Pope of Vatican II in 1965, who wrote the important papers of Vatican II and said that it was a sin to be anti-Semitic, it's a sin against the Catholic Church, and eliminated a lot of the liturgy and rhetoric that was anti-Semitic. And so to the Catholics, our fellow neighbor Catholics around the world, who honor John Paul today with this next step in his road to sainthood, we honor his memory and are grateful for all of our friends, Catholic and those Christians who honor the Jewish people. I'm thinking about John Hagee and his magnificent support for the State of Israel. I listen in my car constantly to his 11-minute speech that he gave at the American Israel Public Affairs Committee just in 2007, in which he talked about how the Jewish people have to know that we're not alone, and that there are millions and millions of evangelicals who support the Jewish people, who understand the Jewish people are the apple of God's eye, who support the State of Israel. And in that very beautiful, powerful speech, he apologized for historic anti-Semitism. And he said that Christians too often think about the Jews of the past, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he talked about how without Judaism there would be no Christianity. And how when you think about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, he said, not a Baptist in the bunch. And so we salute those Christians who are our friends. And those Muslims too are our friends. And especially today we honor the memory of John Paul II. And we think about all of those who stand together and work for a world of peace and justice, and want to make sure that the biblical prophecies of every man sitting under their own vine and fig tree, and no one will make us afraid, stand true. And the nation will not lift up sword against nation. And even as we mourn the tragic mass murder at the hands of the Nazis and so many in Europe who aided and abetted them, we remember that there are noble, righteous people of all faiths who stand shoulder to shoulder with those who want peace. And so we salute John Paul in his memory and those elements within the Catholic Church who support the Jewish people and the State of Israel. God bless him and his memory. Shalom.